Congratulations, you've been optimized. When HR said this with a smile, I was still trying to decide between a sandwich or a salad for lunch. I'd spent 5 years at this company, N+1 severance, out by the end of the month. As I was packing up my box, my mom called, "Perfect timing. You're free now. Go collect rent from those tenants at our business park who are behind on payments." I looked at my termination letter, then at the list of delinquent tenants she'd sent me. Third on the list was the company that had just fired me. 3 months overdue, $870,000. I lit a cigarette and stood at the bottom of the office building, laughing for a good while. Chapter 1. Congratulations, you've been optimized. When Haley Chase said this, the curve of her smile was precise enough to have been measured. 8 teeth showing. Exactly like the day she interviewed me 5 years ago. So this smile comes as a package deal, I guess. One when you enter, another when you leave. N+1. Just finished the exit procedures before the end of the month. She slid the agreement across the table, her fingernail tapping the signature line. Signed here, Ethan. I'd worked at Apex Interactive for 5 years. We specialized in short video content operations. After Series B funding, we never secured Series C. Translation: we were running out of money. Optimization had become the company's most frequently used word this year. More than let's go, more than hit those targets, more than the conserve paper signs in the bathroom. Last month, half of marketing got cut. The month before, customer service was completely eliminated. I'd always thought that as a 5-year veteran, I'd at least be in one of the last batches. Turns out I was first. The door opened. Marcus Hayes, the operations director, walked in carrying an Americano. His tie was impeccably knotted, his hair slicked back enough to use as a mirror. "Ethan, thanks for everything, man." He patted my shoulder. His tone had that tragic quality of sending a comrade to his death. I glanced down at his hand. It was shaking. "You patted my shoulder, you made the face, but the trembling hand is a bit much." A month ago, I'd pulled 2 all-nighters on a user growth proposal. He copied it word for word into his weekly presentation. The cover read, "Operations Director Marcus Hayes," in 48-point font, bold, centered. My name appeared on page 37 in the bottom right corner. 6-point font, light gray. You'd need to zoom in 200% to even see it. He won Best Manager of the Quarter with that proposal. $20,000 bonus. Not a cent of it came my way. Then, at the layoff committee meeting, he was the first to raise his hand. His reasoning: this position has low output. Eliminating it won't significantly impact the department. I knew why he was so eager to kick me out. Keeping me around meant keeping a witness. If I ever let something slip, the whole proposal situation would come out. Just sign. He crossed his legs and sat on the sofa. The company's compensation package is very generous. N+1. I looked at the agreement. N+1, 5 years of service, theoretically 6 months' salary. But after deducting perfect attendance bonuses, downgrading performance coefficients, and something called an optimization contribution fee, I get 4.5 months. "What's this optimization contribution fee?" I asked. Haley didn't even look up. Company policy. So I'm getting laid off and still have to pay into it? Should I thank the company for firing me while I'm at it? I didn't argue. I picked up the pen. Signed. There was no point arguing. I'd seen this play out before. Back at my desk to pack up. The entire floor was as quiet as a morgue. About 20 people. None of them looked up. The clatter of keyboards filled the air as everyone pretended to be busy. An intern snuck a glance at me, got elbowed by the person next to him, and quickly ducked his head back down. Doug from the next cubicle reached over with his hand, a crumpled paper ball in his palm. I opened it. "Barbecue tonight, my treat. Don't be down." Below it he'd drawn a pile of poop and a stick figure flipping the bird. I pocketed the note. With that artistic ability, his optimization is just a matter of time. I didn't have much. A thermos, a dying succulent, a USB drive. 5 years. This was all I'd accumulated. I carried the box toward the elevator. Passing Marcus's office, the door was half open. He was on the phone, voice low, but I could hear clearly. Handled. No drama. People like that, just throw enough money at them. I didn't stop. When the elevator doors closed, I was alone inside. Walking out of the building, the sunlight made me squint. The 26-story glass facade gleamed in the sun. The sign at the entrance read, Kingston Tech Park, Building A. Standing there, I felt like expired bubble tea that had been thrown out. Unwanted, but somehow not really a big deal. My phone rang. My mom. Sweetheart, what are you up to? Just got off work. Perfect. Her tone was suspiciously excited, like she'd been waiting for this. Your dad's back is acting up. Some tenants at the park are behind on rent. Go collect it for us. What park? The one where you work. Kingston Tech Park. We own it. I looked at the building in front of me, then down at the box in my hands. Mom, say that again? Kingston Tech Park. Your dad bought it 15 years ago. You rode a tricycle around the construction site when you were little. I've told you this 800 times, but every time you just go, and keep playing video games. Wait. I opened my messages, scrolled to the family group chat, the Shaw family circle. 3 days ago, my mom had sent a spreadsheet. My response below it, got it, thanks. It was an auto-reply. I'd set up keyword triggers. I opened the spreadsheet. Delinquent tenant list. 7 companies total. Third row. 3 months overdue, totaling $870,000. Company name, Apex Interactive Technologies, Incorporated. Legal representative, Richard Kane. I stared at that name for 10 seconds, then put down the box, pulled out a cigarette, lit it, took a drag, another drag. Then, cigarette between my fingers, I tilted my head back and looked up at that 26-story glass facade and laughed. I actually laughed out loud. Fired by my own family's tenant. Chapter 2. 7:30 p.m. Barbecue joint. Doug slammed 2 beers on the table, his face screaming, bro. Don't be sad. Doug's here for you. I chewed on a lamb skewer and played my mom's voicemail on speaker. Your dad took you to see it when you were little. You drew Sun Wukong on a pillar in the building a lobby with crayons. It's still there. Don't remember. Of course you don't. You were only 4. But the pillar's still there. Go to the lobby tomorrow and look. 3rd one on the left. I paused it. Doug's skewer dropped half its meat onto the table. He stared at me, mouth open, a piece of asparagus dangling from his lip. Your family owns it? All of Kingston Tech Park. My mom says so. All of it? Not just a small office? All of it. Building A, B, and C, plus the cafeteria in the middle. Plus the parking lot. He chugged his beer. Ethan, what the hell were you doing working at that company for 5 years? I only found out today, too. Your parents didn't tell you? They did. I showed him the chat history. My mom sent a voice message last year, 47 seconds. I replied with, okay. Did you listen to it? No. 47 seconds was too long. Doug slammed his chopsticks on the table. You deserve to get optimized. Thanks, man. Really appreciate you giving me the most honest assessment at my most vulnerable moment. He spent 5 minutes processing this, chugging 3 beers before finally accepting reality. Then he leaned forward, lowered his voice, eyes gleaming. So, what are you going to do? Collect rent. And then? No, and then. My mom asked me to collect rent, so I'll collect rent. You're not going to get revenge? That bastard Marcus stealing your proposal. That's separate. I'll be a good landlord first. Doug stared at me for a few seconds. You're scheming something. I'm eating barbecue. That night when I got home, my mom had already prepared everything. Property deed, lease agreement, property management authorization, all neatly arranged on the coffee table. Next to them sat a bowl of white fungus and lotus seed soup. My dad was on the sofa watching TV, a medicated patch on his back. When he saw me, he said one thing: "Don't be too aggressive collecting rent. Business is about relationships." My mom shouted from the Kicklark, "What relationships? Debts must be paid. You're too soft, 3 months overdue, and you haven't said a word." She poked her head out. "Son, when you go tomorrow, stand tall. You represent the Shaw family." I flipped through the contracts and found Apex Interactive's. Monthly rent, $290,000. 3-year lease, expiring next June. But they'd stopped paying 3 months ago. The contract clearly stated consecutive non-payment exceeding 2 months gives the lessor the right to unilaterally terminate the agreement. I stared at that clause. Thought back to Marcus's phone call in his office today. People like that, just throw enough money at them. I turned to page 2 of the property management authorization. It bore the seal of Shaw Property Management Incorporated. The agent line was blank. My mom handed me a pen. "Fill in your name." I did. As the pen touched paper, I suddenly found it oddly fascinating. Yesterday, I'd been the lowest level operations specialist in that building. Tomorrow, I'd walk in as the landlord's representative to collect rent. I leaned back in my chair, looking out at the night. "Mom, besides this park, do we have other properties?" "Sure. Your dad has 2 mixed-use buildings in the South District." "Why?" "Nothing." "Oh, right. You know about your grandmother's situation, right? Doesn't Grandma run a grain and oil shop?" 2 seconds of silence. "Well, sort of." She carried a plate back to the Kicklark, her voice fading. "Sort of." That hesitant sort of gave me a vague sense of unease. That night I had a dream. I was in Apex Interactive's lobby. On the 3rd pillar from the left, there was a crayon drawing of Sun Wukong. The lines were crooked. Marcus stood nearby, holding a rag, trying to erase it. In my dream, I said one thing: "Don't erase it. That pillar is mine." Chapter 3. The next day, 10 a.m. I wore a white dress shirt, carried a briefcase, and stood in the Kingston Tech Park Building A lobby. Looked down. 3rd pillar from the left. Near the bottom, there was a faint crayon mark. If you didn't look carefully, you couldn't tell it was supposed to be Sun Wukong. It looked like melted ice cream with 2 legs. I confirmed it. It really was my drawing. Deep breath. Walked toward reception. The receptionist was Emily Lane. Started last year. I knew her. She knew me too. "Ethan?" Emily's eyes widened, bouncing between my face and briefcase. "Weren't you yesterday?" "Laid off yesterday, yes." I smiled and handed her my business card. "Here in a different capacity today. Shaw Property Management Company. I'm Ethan Shaw, the property owner's representative." She took the card, looked at it for 3 seconds, looked at me for 3 seconds. "You're joking, right?" "Contract number JH, 2022, I-1703. Your company leases the entire 17th floor of Kingston Tech Park Building A. Monthly rent $290,000, 3 consecutive months overdue, totaling $870,000. I'm here to discuss this matter. Please notify Mr. Kane or whoever handles administration." Emily's hand hovered over the phone, frozen. Her expression was like watching a cat walk in and claim to be checking the water meter. "You're serious?" I placed the authorization and property deed copies on the reception desk. "Could you make the call? I'm not in a hurry." 5 minutes later, the elevator opened. Haley Chase walked out in high heels, wearing her standard HR smile. But that smile, the instant she saw me, cracked. Yes, like a perfect mirror that suddenly went crack down the middle. Ethan?
Hey.
What are you doing here? Collecting rent. Her footsteps stopped. Her heel made a sharp click on the marble floor, then silence. I handed her the authorization. She didn't take it. Her eyes focused on the header, Shaw Property Management Incorporated, then moved to the agent's signature, Ethan Shaw. Read it 3 times. This is your company's overdue rent point 3 months, $870,000 total. Per contract, consecutive non-payment exceeding 2 months gives the lessor the right to terminate. I'm not discussing termination today, just when you can settle the debt. I paused, adding with a smile, for now. Haley's hand holding the document trembled slightly. Not from fear. It was that involuntary muscle response when someone's worldview suddenly collapses. She opened her mouth to speak. The first-floor lobby was very quiet. Emily pretended to look at her computer, eyes practically flying toward me. Haley took a deep breath. Wait here. I need to notify management. She turned toward the elevator. Her heels clicked rapidly and erratically. 2 steps away, she glanced back at me. That look was complex. Translation: Are you seriously not messing with me right now? I nodded at her, expression sincere. She got in the elevator. After the doors closed, Emily finally couldn't hold it in. She covered her face with a folder, peering at me from behind it. Ethan? Yeah. Did you know yesterday? Found out last night. She swallowed hard. When you signed the exit agreement yesterday? I didn't know. When you came to collect rent today? I knew. She lowered the folder. Face flushed red. Couldn't tell if she was excited for me or scared for the company. Badass. She said, voice very small, but I heard it. Chapter 4. 5 minutes later, the elevator opened again. Haley led the way, followed by someone else. Marcus. He strode over, suit crisp, chin raised, the same posture as when he'd patted my shoulder yesterday. Only difference. He wasn't holding an Americano. He was gripping a document. Ethan? He stood before me, looking me up and down. A smirk played at his lips, the kind of smile someone in power gives to a farce. You got laid off and came back to scam us? Mr. Hayes. I handed him the authorization. Please review this. He took it and glanced casually. Then a second glance. The second took much longer. What is this? Property deed copy, property management authorization, my identification. Your company owes 3 months' rent on Kingston Tech Park. I'm here on behalf of the owner to negotiate. Marcus flipped it over to check the back. Flipped back to the front. His eyes bounced between Shaw Property Management Incorporated and Agent, Ethan Shaw, at least 4 times. He laughed. But the laugh sounded wrong. Your last name is Shaw. The company's name is Shaw, so it's your family's? The name on the property deed matches my father's identification. The authorization bears the corporate seal and notary stamp. If you have doubts, you can verify at the real estate registry. My tone was calm, like presenting a PowerPoint, though all my previous PowerPoints had been stolen by him. Haley stood nearby, hands wringing together. She interjected. Mr. Hayes, this document. I did a preliminary check. It appears legitimate. Marcus's expression looked like he'd swallowed a live fly, and the fly was still buzzing. Are you kidding me? He stared at me, voice rising half an octave. Fired yesterday. Today you show up claiming this building is yours? If you're going to make up a story, at least make it believable. Mr. Hayes. I cut him off, pulling another document from my briefcase. This is the lease agreement your company signed 3 years ago, lessor, Shaw Property Management Incorporated. Lessee, Apex Interactive Technologies Incorporated, legal representative Richard Kane. Monthly rent $290,000, 3 months deposit plus 1 month advance. I turned to the last page. The seal here matches the seal on my authorization. You can compare them yourself. The lobby went silent. Marcus stopped talking. The document in his hand was shaking. Subtle, but I could see it. Haley stole a glance at him, then at me. Emily pretended to answer a call, holding the receiver upside down. About 10 seconds of silence. The elevator chimed again. This time Richard Kane emerged. Mr. Mail, Apex Interactive CEO, 45, slightly overweight, balding, always wore a gray polo shirt. Today, gray polo shirt. As he approached, his face radiated that "I'll handle everything" executive aura. Haley, what's going on? Haley opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Marcus opened his mouth. Nothing came out. I answered for them. Hello, Mr. Kane. I'm Ethan Shaw. I left your company yesterday. Here today about the rent. Your company is 3 months overdue, totaling $870,000. Kane's steps faltered. He looked at me, then at the document in Marcus's hand, and took it. He read much more slowly than Marcus. Page by page. At the property deed, his brow furrowed. At the authorization, it nodded into a type ball. He looked up. This was the first time in 5 years Richard Kane had truly looked at me. Ethan. 5 years. First time calling me Ethan. Not what's his name, not that operations kid. Ethan. This matter. He rolled up the documents, gripping them, and forced a smile. Let's go upstairs to talk. Not convenient in the lobby. He turned toward the elevator. Passing Marcus, he tapped his arm with the rolled documents. You come up too. Marcus's face turned ashen. I followed them into the elevator. The instant the doors closed, I saw Haley's reflection in the polished walls. She was biting her lip, biting it white. Emily finally put down the upside-down receiver. I heard her murmur behind me, Ethan, you really did come back from the dead.